What's up? It's Way Up with Angela Yee. Y'all know I'm excited because Roxanne Shanté is here with me today. Welcome to Way Up with Angela Yee.
Thank you. Please believe it. I see you done took it way up, okay?
I know. Listen, I already know because she's already looking around the room thinking of rhymes in her head. I know you are. And I just want to, we greeted each other, but you're right. Every time we see each other, it's like a celebration.
Yes, it is.
You know,
It's
something
amazing.
positive and amazing is happening. The first time we really spent time together, though, which is etched in my memory forever because it was so exciting to me. We were in South Africa.
Yes.
And it was for Women MCs, her story. And I was like, I can't believe I'm out here with Roxanne Shanté. It was a very surreal experience for me.
Oh, thank you. Me too. And I think one of the things that people don't seem to understand is that not only do we meet in the city, not only do we get a chance to see there, but your impact that you have internationally is incredible.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
it's incredible. So it's like when we got I said, oh, yeah, they got the right one. They got the right one.
And listen, we also, you know, we had a chance to talk about obviously the Netflix movie when you did that,
Yes.
Roxanne. And I know that you've said there's a part 2
Yes.
coming. So I have to ask and start with that because I know you heard the conversations. Okay, what now? We got to see what's next. We saw Nas at the end of that being introduced, but is that something that's really still happening?
Yes,
Is it written?
absolutely. That it is. And you know, when we get off the air, then I'm gonna show
Okay,
you
you
something.
can't tell me.
I
Okay.
can't tell you. Yeah. So when we get off the air, I'm gonna show you something.
Oh,
You got it
something
with
to
us.
show. Okay,
Something
we
to
love
show
it.
you. Yes.
And another thing you've talked about, and I'm just getting all this out of the way first because I'm curious and wanting to know, is a book.
Yes.
And there's so many things that you said that clearly we're not in. I mean, there's so much that went into your life.
Yes.
And so is that something that is also...
You know, so many times I've started the book. I said, okay, look, I'm going to write the book now. But if I would have written a book when I first started to write the book, then I would not have had Paid in Full.
Mm-hmm.
And if I would have written a book when I started to write the book, then I would not have had a Lifetime Grammy.
Okay.
And then I would not have had a radio show. So there's so many things that keep happening in life
Mm-hmm.
that just make you say, okay, you know what? Maybe I just need to wait until I get all of these great things to happen. And then I'm able to put them in a book because I just want to write one book. Well, really, I want to write it in 3 parts, but I just want to write one book.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I don't want to keep going back and guess what else happened to me? And girl, guess what else happened
I
to
gotta
me?
do
You know what I'm
part
saying?
2, part
You know what I'm
3.
saying? I don't want to do that. I want to be able to just give them the full, you know, Lolita, Roxanne, Shanté story.
Okay, well, speaking of Lolita...
Yes.
You know, Bobby Digital presents Juice Crew. And
Yes.
Craig G did a song, Lolita, on there that is based on you
Yes.
and the things that you've gone through. And I feel like we've heard the stories, but we don't even know the depth of what all of that is. And so can you talk about this song, Lolita? Because you're not just Roxanne Shanté.
Yes, I am Lolita.
You're
Yes,
Lolita.
absolutely. By birth. Like, not a name that I picked up. That was the name that was given to me at birth, as Lolita.
Mm-hmm.
So when I first heard it, I cried. And the reason why I cried is because, yeah, you know, I don't get a chance to really show my emotions too much when I'm outside because I am who I am and all that good stuff. But at home, my first time hearing it, I cried because it allowed me to hear, and not just Lolita, but the entire project.
Mm-hmm.
It allowed me to hear what my brothers were thinking about me and what was going on in my life. So literally, it was being able to see Roxanne Shanté through their eyes, through the eyes of the greats, through the eyes of your Big Daddy Kane, you know, your Cool G Rap, MC Shan, like all of these different things. It's like, oh my goodness, you know, and of course, you know, growing up with them, they're your brothers, so you look at them a certain way, but I've always seen them as the great stars, entertainers, you know, and talents that they are.
Right.
So for them to take time out and say, you know what, this was about the hustler she used to date, and this is about her life here, and this has about Miss Peggy, and this is about how she felt when she didn't want to be in the game no more, and all of these different things. So it tied everything in. And then it's an honor for me to be able to sit back and say, here's a project where, you know, I started off in my career with a song, Roxanne, where I just jumped in and became Roxanne Shanté. But for this album to come along and really be about Shanté, then I can really sit back and say, why'd you have to make a record about me? You know, that
IOXA.
see, that's what I'm saying. So, and I would
It
be
lives
able to,
on forever and ever.
yeah, you know, so yeah, so it's an honor for me. Like, the whole project is an honor for me. And it just takes me to that great place in life, like where I am now.
And even you reflecting on Roxanne the Truth, because you know we got to hear you rhyme too. I feel and I people do get to hear that, like when you do the news and things like that.
Yes.
But you, like you said back then when you decided you didn't want to do that anymore.
Yes.
To me, and obviously I feel like back then we also didn't know stories about what's going on, like how we have access today.
Right.
And like who knew back then? I wasn't even thinking, oh, she's only 14, 15 years old, that doesn't even register.
Right.
You're just like, okay, this is a dope song. It's fire. It's on the radio. We're not thinking about, is she getting paid properly for this?
Publishing.
You're
and
not thinking about that
and,
either.
No.
At all. And everything and the trials and tribulations that you had to go through. And so when you look back at that time, it was such a different time than where we are today.
Yes.
When you look back at that decision, and clearly it's the right one that you made, but do you ever think sliding doors moment, like what if I would have kept going?
Unfortunately, I never was a person to go through those sliding doors. And I'm going to tell you, I never was a what if person. And the reason why is because I always had to live in the now. Going through foster care, going through the situations that I went through, going through certain abuses and things like that, that once I got through something, I got through it. And I just continue on to whatever is going to take place and look forward to the future. Live in the now, look forward to the future, and really try to let go of the past. And so I never did that, because if I would have went into that, then I guess if I would have ever started crying about all of the things that took place with Roxanne and Shanté, I'd have never stopped. How would I have been able to mentally handle that, especially being at that age? You're thinking about things that took place when I was 14 years old, 15 years old, 16 years old, struggling in my 20s, everything that I went through. So it was a more of a strength for me to be able to take those things. And I call it Pandora's box. Like, I literally have this trunk at home, like a chest, a big trunk. And inside of it were things that I threw in there that were from the 80s and the 90s. And so I locked the trunk, and the trunk is locked, and we have not opened it.
Wow.
So everyone is like, what is in that trunk? And I'm like, oh, there's probably letters from people from jail. There's pictures that's in there.
You probably don't even know everything.
I don't know everything that's in there. But for me, it was like I didn't want to open it up at a time where I felt I couldn't handle whatever I was going to let out of that box, because I've learned how to carry on. That's the reason why I have a show called Have a Nice Day.
Have a Nice Day.
Because there's so many things to make you sad, and so many places that you can go to get negative energy, that you want to go someplace where you're going to have a nice day. So even if there's a mishap in my life, I make fun of it. I make light of it. I let people know, like, listen, laugh at your pain and keep moving, because there's no time to stop and cry, because
that's
like
a coping mechanism.
Absolutely.
In a way. I was thinking about how earlier today Rolling Stone put out this exclusive interview with the 14. Remember when R. Kelly had the tape with the 14-year-old girl?
Yes.
And she's writing a memoir that's about to come out. And this is her first time really speaking on what happened. And I feel like the first question people always ask is, well, what made her decide to speak now? But she explains it really perfectly. She was like, and I was in Chicago once, and people were definitely like, oh, that's the girl. People know who she is. It's not that they don't know, right? In Chicago, if she goes out, everybody knows. She used to be in a group when she was young. And so I think she was like 12 or 13 years old. And then she met him, through family. And now she's speaking because she was like, I don't want to be the girl, the R. Kelly girl anymore. I want to be able to tell my side of the story. And maybe it took 25 years for her to be able to feel like she was in a space to be able to do that, because sometimes in our own time, and I think for women in this industry in particular, there's so many things that we can carry that have been with us, for so long. And who knows when those stories are going to come out, but we have the right to tell them.
Right, absolutely. And then we also have the right not to tell them.
Yeah, and we have the right not to tell them.
And for some people, their strength is being able to keep their secret, and being able to keep that quiet and let everybody know. Because sometimes this is one of the things that I grew up with. Never tell your problems to a person who can't fix them. What am I doing? I'm just repeating it.
Right.
So why would I tell you? And there's nothing that you can do to make today better, to make tomorrow greater, or to make yesterday go away.
Yeah.
So then who do you tell? You really don't tell anyone.
You also, you're married, happily married.
Yeah,
which is an amazing thing. What about that? Like, do you feel like that's your person that you can tell everything to? Because I have to assume that, there's so much that you guys have discussed. And
I've told him everything that I'm supposed to tell him. And I think, and I know that sounds like maybe I'm being secretive with some things, but no, I mean, there's some things people tell too much sometimes. And if we are living here and we're living this life, I tell you everything that's going to make this life great. That's going to make this life good. Now, am I going to give you some warning signs of certain things that can make this go wrong? Then absolutely. I will give you like, hey, now that can't be done, because, you tell everything when it needs to be told. Right. You don't just go in there and, because you got to know the difference between the person you're in a relationship with and the person that you are going to therapy with. Okay. You know what I'm saying? This is your husband. This is your spouse. This is your significant other. This is not your therapist. Right. You know what I'm saying? And you're throwing stuff on them that they can't process. So now they're looking at you different. Now you get in an argument, they bring up that.
Yeah.
Where your therapist would never do that.
Right.
So you got to know who to put stuff on. You know what I'm saying? You got to make sure that you know who you want to tell somebody something to, so that if it comes back to you, you're ready for it.
I can't even imagine the things that go on in your head, because as a person who you grew up as a battle rapper and walking around and coming up with rhymes and doing that. I have to imagine that sometimes situations are happening in your head. You're writing a battle rap again.
Baby.
Against the person.
All the time. Like, it's so funny because when me and my husband do have like, say we're having like an argument or we're having a strong discussion, you know, sometimes the first thing that comes in my head, believe it or not, is like Janet Jackson. And in my mind, I hear, "Give me a beat."
Let me get back in the studio.
Like, I just get started, like, you know, and then he's like, "Oh, this is not going to turn off." It's like, no, it's not. Like, I'm going to give you a full album. Like, you getting ready to get 2 hours of this work, and it's not going to stop, you know. And so don't start it.
Don't do it to me.
Yeah, don't start it, you know. And then after a while, he goes, "Okay, I yield to the queen," and he'll give me a hug, and he'll stop, because he knows, like, verbally, I'll be ready. Mm-hmm. I just be ready.
I listen, I know you do. I'm thinking about all the battles that happened today. It feels like people are cautious about, like, oh, we can't go there. I think about the old, you know, Roxanne, Shanté rhymes.
Oh yeah, they used to get me.
Man, your little voice, and you going in, you used to be going in on people too.
Absolutely.
But y'all was talking about being a hoe, gonorrhea, like all kinds of stuff.
Everything.
Today they'll try to sue you.
Yeah.
They'll be like, oh, she said I had gonorrhea.
Yeah. Now the whole world thinks I got it. Da, 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 da. You know, and it's crazy because back then I think that is where the freedom was, you know. And I tell people all the time, when I look at these battles today, though I love them, I'm entertained with them and everything, but for me they're not really battles, because a real battle is like you just show up and you don't know who your opponent's going to be.
Right.
If I've had 3 months to prepare for you, then that's not a battle.
Yeah, that's not a freestyle.
That's not a freestyle.
It's a written. And so these people
that's
are
not
crafting,
that's a concert. Like, I got 3 months to prepare for you. I'm going to eat right, exercise. I'm going to go there. I need to just show up as is, or either they just need to take everybody's name and put it in a hat. Whoever they feel is the greatest, come up with one big gigantic cash prize. You know what I'm saying? Say, listen, we're going to do this for $100,000. Put the names in the hat, shake the hat up, and whatever name you pick out, that's your partner. Be ready in 5 minutes.
You know, you need to start that league.
You know what I'm saying? Be ready in 5 minutes.
You need to start
You know what I'm saying? Because
league.
all of this 3 months, and then we got to wait, and then that's too much. Just be ready in 5 minutes. Call it the 5 minute 100,000 league.
She came up with something already.
There you go. That's it. That's it. 5 minute 100,000.
Let's get it started.
Let's do it.
And I know you've talked about this before, but even you going up against the men.
Yes.
And you were this little 5-foot girl going in on them, and it was devastating for a man to lose to you.
Yeah, it was career ending.
Yeah.
Like, it was more than devastating. It was career ending, because now they would go to, if they went to another battle someplace else, they'd be like, yeah, but that's the one that lost to that little girl. like they never wanted that. You know, it was really a harsh title for them to lose to me. So for a lot of them, they would just literally give me the money not to battle. Like, they would be like, yo, here, don't go in it. Here, don't enter it.
Imagine they would have had social media. Them battles would have been going viral.
Ooh.
Some people are very fortunate.
Absolutely. They are glad they are born in the time that they were born in.
Now, talk to me about this Bobby Digital Presents Juice Crew.
Yes.
And how this project even came about and why you decided to take part in this.
Well, you know, I was the icing on the cake. Like, that's what I tell people. Like, literally, the cake was already baked. I didn't even know that they were baking the cake. I didn't have no idea that they were putting this album together. And then they reached out to me and said, listen, this is the project that we're doing. Would you be the icing on the cake? And I was like, absolutely. Because once I heard the songs and I knew that all of the songs were about me and they were, you know, and it was like a Roxanne Shanté project, I felt like, okay, well, if I'm going to do anything, then let me just tell the Roxanne Shanté story.
Yeah.
So that this way you can hear it from me in parts and bits. And so that's what I did. So with Roxanne, the truth, you know, it's just letting them know, here's what took place. And the reason why I titled it The Truth is because it's hard for people to live a lie when the truth is in the room. So there's a lot of rooms that they won't have me in, because I don't make them uncomfortable because I've ever did anything to them. I make them uncomfortable because of the life that they're trying to live. And when they look over to me, they're afraid that I'm going to say the truth.
Right.
So therefore, it's hard to live a lie when the truth is in the room. So they don't really want me in those rooms. So when people say, well, why y'all never have Roxanne Shanté there? Or why Roxanne Shanté's not invited to this? Or why hasn't she been a part of this? Or why isn't she a part of that? And then I just kind of like just took it to myself and said, okay, you know what? you're the truth. And the reason why they don't have you there is because it's so hard to live a lie when the truth is in the room. The truth makes you uncomfortable. And it's not that I've done anything to them. Like I repeat and say, I didn't do anything to them. We were battle rappers. We were battle rappers. I won. I won. Now, if you want to go in there and say that you won because you're in this room and I wasn't there to tell the truth, because I'm in the room.
Right.
You keep looking at me because you're nervous, thinking that I'm going to say something. And then I don't drink. So, the sober person in the room remembers all the details. You know what I'm saying? So I've never drank or used drugs, and, quite a few others have.
Yeah.
And I don't pass judgment on anybody that's done that. You know what I'm saying? I'm there for you, whatever it is. But the main thing is, that I know. And so I was there. And so it's hard to do that. So I named it The Truth. And in it, I tell little bits and pieces of.
Man, listen, you tell all these bits and pieces, and it makes me feel like I need this book. I'm sorry. I know when you're ready for it. But, I mean, I also feel like I've, we've spoken before, and I know you've talked about just even in the movie and certain things you were like, this is a lot. And people cried. Even from what we did see, it was emotional.
Right.
To watch that and everything that you've been through. Like you said, growing up, group homes, foster care, you were boosting.
Yeah, and out these streets. Like,
boosting is different now, too, by the way.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely.
It's like a credit card fraud.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's a whole different level to it. I think one of the greatest things for me, and I've had a lot of incredible accomplishments. I wouldn't take any of them back, and I'm glad that they came when they came. But for me, lighting the Empire State Building. Like, I got a chance to light the Empire State Building. And that, for me, was a full circle moment, because I remember being in the streets and living in the streets. And for me, the Empire State Building was such a point that you can look at and you can say, okay, you know what? Once the lights come on for the Empire State Building, let me prepare for the night of New York.
Right.
And it also lets you know where you were.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's what it did for me. And so when I used to always say, like, I wonder who lights the Empire State Building. And then I remember that I got a chance to come there. So for that night, I knew the answer. Like, I lit the Empire State Building.
What was that whole experience like that day?
I was so choked up. I was emotional that day, and nobody understood why, because everybody's like, "Oh, you're just gonna hit a switch."
Because they've done so much. They're like,
right.
"This is the."
Yeah, they was like, "Oh, come on, you just rap the national anthem at a Messi game, okay?" You know what I'm saying? So people was looking at it like, "You have done some huge. You doing soccer. You doing all these different things, and hitting this switch. Why is this so much for you?" And for me, hitting that switch was like almost turning the lights on a dark childhood.
Right.
Like, finally, like, okay, who lights the Empire State Building? And I used to just like get through the night thinking about it, like, who lights the Empire State Building? And then I got a chance to light the Empire State Building. And for me, hitting that switch was just
nobody
enough.
But you will ever
Nobody
understand.
but me will ever understand that. Nobody.
How was it even for your children? Like, you were a kid having a kid.
Yes.
Back then. And that was a blessing to see how your kids have been flourishing now.
Yeah, they're amazing.
But do they have do they
ask?
ask you like a lot of questions or are they like, Mom will tell us when she's...
They never did. They never, like, when I tell you that I was blessed with the best children, and everybody says this, but, everybody know they shit's not real. They know that they really ain't blessed with good kids. They know their kids ain't good, but...
It's impossible for everyone's kids.
Right, exactly. But for me, the blessing, like, I love you see my son, like, I travel with my son, like, you know what I'm saying? I think we was in Africa together also. So I travel with my children. A lot of people try to get away from their children. Not me. I love my children. And I was blessed with children that never asked me why. Like, we would sit in the house and we'd be watching hip hop stuff on TV, and they never asked me, why you not up there? They never asked me why we don't have a big house. They never asked me, why are we eating this or why are we doing that? They never did.
There's a song, Single Mothers, on this project also.
I'm going to tear up and cry again. Yes.
So talk to me about the impact of that song, because... there's, I think for a lot of women that hear Single Mothers,
they're going to be able to relate to it. And again, it was like, you can't think about Roxanne and Shanté without thinking, or paying homage to the single mom. Because when you look at a lot of my photos from when I was performing, you see my son in the pictures. And I didn't get covers on magazines because I refused to not take the pictures with my son. You know,
That's amazing.
And now they're promoting teen pregnancy.
Right.
So like probably back in the day, if they were promoting teen pregnancy, and it wasn't that I was
Wow.
promoting teen pregnancy, it was the fact that, you know, I wanted people to understand that you didn't have to. I wanted young mothers to understand that you don't have to give up. Even if you're just a kid and you have a child, don't think your life is over.
Yeah.
You can still do all these things. You can still be in the Right On magazines. You can still be in all of these different things. And I think Right On magazine was one of the magazines that put him in there with me. It was like, okay, listen, I understand how strongly she's standing on it. But a lot of other magazines was like, no, we're not going to put you on the cover with your son. And I was like, okay, well, then don't put me on the cover. After all, I mean, I wasn't really making money from hip hop.
Right.
Though hip hop was making money from me, I wasn't making money from hip hop. So I didn't miss it. So people be like, oh, if you do the cover, you're going to get this. Like, yeah, right. Like, y'all told me if I made records, did videos, I was going to get this. And I didn't get none of that.
Go on the road.
Yeah, go on the road. I was going to get money from
Coming
shows
home
and all
with
that stuff. I
nothing.
didn't get none of that. So I don't miss this either.
It's interesting because I see Salt and Pepper, like they had this lawsuit and they didn't end up getting the money from ownership of their records. And I know you've never seen a royalty at all.
Never
But
seen a
there's
royalty
also all
check.
these laws. I don't know how it works. But is it something you've said, let me look into this, or the process of, I know you're very good and happy where you are. You know, I know that.
I would love to.
The blessings are coming in,
Yes.
but sometimes we are like, that's a lot to go through. I don't know about getting all time, but is that something that you are looking into?
You know, it's not something that I have been looking into. It is something that people have approached me with it. And it seems like it's the same thing over and over again. Like, I haven't had a genuine person come and say, okay, listen, I'm going to find this. I'm going to get you this. We're going to get this, because I'll be more than willing to pay them for it.
Yeah.
Like fine, you know, if you're going
Once
to
you
do
get
that.
it,
Yeah,
you
you
get
get
it.
it. You
Yeah.
get it. You get it. You can get it.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But I never want to just fall back into searching and looking for things and going through that when it's going to take away concentration from all of the things that I'm doing now. And that's why something like Paid in Full allows you to be able to say, okay, well, listen, Paid in Full is beautiful, and they're doing all of these great things, and it's a wonderful company, and the organization is phenomenal. And what they're doing is they're taking your mind off of what you haven't gotten here. Because I'm going to give you this here, and I need you to continue being you.
Right.
So for me, that's what Paid in Full did for me.
The Paid in Full Foundation.
Yes, the Paid in Full Foundation allowed me to continue being me.
Yeah.
Without having to worry about what I didn't have, where was it, how am I going to get it, what am I going to do. And then, of course, you know, Sirius XM with LL Cool J.
Of course, rock the bells,
Rock
baby.
the bells, baby. Ring-a-ling.
And I do want to say that it feels like your spirit is such that people come to you.
Yes.
And we see that, like, with the Paid in Full Foundation, like you said, it's not something that you necessarily pursue. They kind of came to you.
Yes.
Like, we have this money and you're deserving of it, and you've never gotten what you are owed.
Right. It was like, listen, we would like to give you this for your contribution into hip hop and for everything that you've done for the culture. And what we want you to do with this is we want you to continue being you. So that means still be able to go out and speak at these universities, still be able to go and talk at the shelters, still be able to do all these things. So it allows me to really be me freely.
I want to say that I feel like you're such a powerful speaker. Even having been on a panel with you before, I was like, let me shut up. Because honestly,
No.
I think that you own that stage, but I think part of your power comes from what you've been through.
Yes.
And how relatable you are and how you've managed to prevail through all of that. But also being good spirits from what we know, you know, from what we see of you, and have these opportunities. You weren't like, I want to pitch a movie about my life. You weren't even thinking about that.
Nope.
You weren't like, let me get this money from the Paid in Full Foundation. You weren't like, I want to have a radio show. It's kind of like you attract these things.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I believe that.
Even you starting to rap. That wasn't something that you said, I'm about to do this, do a diss record. You literally were going to the laundromat.
Just going to the laundromat.
Minding your business.
Yes. Clean clothes.
And
clean
it was
clothes.
like, hey, come here and do this record.
Yes, absolutely. So for me, everything in life is a certain je ne sais quoi that you possess that allows it. But it also comes from what you do for other people. And see, I'm not an angry person.
Right.
You know, I'm a person that, okay, well, if this didn't work out for me, I'm not going to stop it from working out for you. So I think the universe picks up on that.
Right.
So the universe says, okay, well, I'm going to wait, and then I'm going to give you these things. And also, it's the people you have in your life at the time. Sometimes the universe says, listen, I can't give you all these things while you're with them because
Yeah.
I don't want them to have them. So once you get rid of them, then I got these things for you. You know, and so people don't look at it that way. They always look at it like, oh, it's supposed to be my time. It's supposed to be my time. It's like, No.
Yeah, a lot of people focus on what they don't have instead of
Yeah.
focusing on what they do have or what they
Absolutely.
can make happen.
Absolutely. Like, I still enjoy mayonnaise sandwiches, like, a lot. And those
Okay.
were like, I used to get them for 50 cents, and they used to fill my stomach.
Please don't eat no bologna on it, though.
No bologna, just
Okay.
straight mayonnaise. I couldn't afford the bologna, so I
Okay,
used to just
'cause-
get mayonnaise. And still today, I get a sandwich with so much mayonnaise. It just be, I do. I still do.
Oh, my gosh. I do want to say... I could never look at not never, but Mahershala Ali. After seeing him in the movie, I'd be side-eyeing him.
Oh, goodness.
He did such a good job.
He did such a good job, and
And I love Mahershala Ali, but I was
Yes.
like, bro, like, you're,
that was almost like his one of those roles, like with Lawrence Fishburne and Danny Glover. When they play certain parts, they just are always going to be associated with those parts. But he was incredible.
Yeah,
And
I mean, he's done phenomenal things, but that in particular.
Yeah, and he came in and he really, like, literally, he was one of those who saved the day, because he came in, he had just gotten all of these huge accolades, these awards. He had won all these things, and he was like, look, I got a few days for you. Let's film the movie. I'm going to do it. And I was like, you are? And he was like, yeah, come on, let's do it. And did it. Like, everyone that participated in the movie wanted to do it. And everyone that wanted to do this album wanted to do it.
That's amazing.
Like, it's just amazing to me. I like it.
Do you feel like the icon that you are? Because it's interesting, you interview so many icons also on Rock the Bells, right?
Yes, I do.
But you are also a person that I'm sure people are excited to be able to be like, okay, got to do this interview with Roxanne Shanté.
You know, for me, I think I still see myself as Shanté. I was never bit by the entertainment bug. And I think that's what messes up a lot of people's lives, is
Right.
when they get bit by the bug and then things don't work out the way it's supposed to work out. They don't know how to handle regular life. They just don't know how to handle it. So for me, never being bit by the bug allows me to really enjoy everyone. Like, if I'm a fan of yours, I'm a fan of yours. I don't want to be anybody else but me.
But you do have your daughter who is doing music too.
Yes, I do. That's right. Call me
Does it-
Taji. She is amazing.
She's like, Ma, let me do this on my own.
She doesn't want me to help her with anything. She doesn't allow me to help her with anything. And I understand that, and I be wanting to so bad. But I look at her and I say, now that would be Roxanne Shanté if she could sing. You know, if she could sing, then yeah, that's me. So yeah, she has my whole voice, and well, she has her own voice, but you know, I'm saying, like, the talent, she's just incredible. So yeah, it's Call Me Taji. She's amazing.
And your mother actually did want you to be in the business, right? She did want you to get a manager. She wanted you to do music.
You know, with my mom, and you know, I recently lost my mom, and so one of the things about it is that my mom, she wanted me to do whatever was participating in the household, and she wanted me to make sure that I understood that I was of one. I remember being in a group, right?
Yeah.
And I wanted to be in this group, and I remember her saying, fuck them, you a solo act. like you get up there with them, they start messing up, you gonna look messed up. But if you're by yourself, nobody knows you're messing up. You know, so she was one of those. And then she was always like, she always had this push for me, like, well, you already won, so don't even worry about it. When you get there, we're gonna get this money. Like, she's the one who taught me in my mind, start spending prize money before you get it.
Ooh.
And then you'll get it.
Okay.
So when I would go to places to battle for money and different things like that, my thing was I would just automatically start just doing the prize money.
That's like manifestation.
Manifestation. And she didn't even have a title for it, no nothing. She was like, listen, spin it in your mind, you already got it.
And she asked Fly Tie to manage you? Is that how
Fly Tie came along with, she had met, we knew Marley Marl. Marley Marl lived in a building across from me. And he knew Fly Tie because they were all on WBLS together.
Right.
And then when I did Roxanne's Revenge, Fly Tie and them literally came to my mom and was like, hey, listen, she can really do this. And my mother was like, well, I don't care what she do as long as she keep doing this laundry. Like, she can do that, but these clothes is going to be done. You know, these girls' hair is going to be braided, you know, that type of thing. Because she was doing all of this on her own. So literally, that's how she felt about Fly Tie, you know, and rest in peace to him because,
Yeah, rest in peace.
Yeah, because he was incredible.
Cold Chillin' Records.
You know what I'm saying? I felt like being the first of anything for anyone, you kind of get to know ins and outs and the ups and downs of a situation. So for him, I was one of the first artists that he managed. So you learn through trial and error with me.
You were the guinea pig.
I was the guinea pig, but I love it, and I'm thankful to him because he's the reason why I'm able to actually articulate the way I articulate, because he was, he had went to college and he made sure that we understood everything, and he would always touch on vocabulary and being able to speak, because he was like, listen, if you can talk yourself into anything, you got to be able to talk yourself out of it.
Okay. Well, his daughter used to work here too, by the way.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So you see the impact of the talking.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Isn't she? Hey, Brit.
Listen, I would love for us to talk. I know you have to go because they said you had a heart out, but I always am like, come hang out with me sometimes.
Absolutely. Whenever you're ready, I'll come and
y'all
absolutely.
heard it, okay? She's a woman of her word.
Yes, please believe
But congratulations on everything.
Thank you.
It's always exciting for me to see you, to hear from you, and if people don't tell you enough, you are definitely an icon status. And so for me, like I said, it's always, seeing you is always a surreal experience for me, because it just makes me feel like I made it a little. I'm sitting here talking to Roxanne Shanté.
Yes, you have. Please
believe
it. Yes.
All right. Well, again, make sure y'all listen to this Bobby Digital Presents. And I love seeing this Juice Crew, everybody because the younger generation, I think, has to get familiarized with these stories and understand them. That's why I love what Mass Appeal is also doing.
Yes, absolutely. Shout out to Nas.
Yeah, Nas and Mass Appeal with De La Soul.
Yes.
And Mobb Deep and Big L, and putting out those projects. I think it's such a big deal.
Yes, it is.
For us. And to see you thriving is always a blessing and a pleasure. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.